would be, by the time we introduce the first speaker today, you would hear straight from him other details about the college. But then I'd like to reiterate that Transformation College is an online college that offers hybrid study pattern that is both offline and online study pattern. And also we are an NGO. As most of you know, today's session, or this whole program rather, is actually a free program. I'm talking about tuition-free program. And we will be addressing the issue of the commitment fee because we understood some of you really had a challenge or questions to ask about the commitment fee. So we would be clarifying that on the training or program this morning. Okay. So moving forward, we would like to quickly bring the rules of engagement to the minds of everybody. We want to see that we carry everybody along and we all comply for a very smooth transition of today's program. Right, so rule number one is this program is scheduled for 12 weekends, that is Saturdays, from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., starting from today, the 7th of October to 23rd of December, when we shall be having our graduation ceremony. Okay, and then rule number two, we shall observe a 30-minute break per weekend. Okay, and that is specifically from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Right, so we'll be having 3 sessions like you've seen previously on the schedule. So session 1 and session 2 would run smoothly without any interruption, and then we go for a break, 30-minute break, and then we come back by 1 p.m. to conclude or to take the third session for each weekend. The rule number 3, there will be assessment at the end of every session, and everyone is expected to take the assessment and share your scores or certificates with us on our official WhatsApp line. All right, so for every session, especially starting from next weekend, we'll be having assessment per session. Today is a general overview of the program, right? Okay, so please take notes, take the assessment seriously, and take it once the link is dropped. It's very easy. It's all borders around what we've been taught during the session. Rule number 4, only those who go through the program from start to finish will be issued a certificate of completion at the end of this program. So if you skip a session, you will not participate in the graduation ceremony, right? So please make sure you are present throughout the program, all right? So you can participate in the graduation ceremony. Now, at this point, I would like to clarify why we have the commitment fee of $3,500. Now, like I've mentioned before, the tuition is completely free. You can verify the cost of the programs, the courses that we have lined up for you. Verify the courses. We're talking about over 300,000 Naira worth of courses we've lined up for free. But you know, this is Nigeria, and in most cases, when people tend not to really attach value or appreciate free things. But when they have a token of commitment paid towards that, then it's easier for them to commit to be there throughout the program, right? And we also would like to have everybody committed on the program. If you're here today and you have not paid, that is because we really want to have everybody who had registered for this program to be present on today's session. Today is free for everybody. We've been having people chatting us and asking, oh, some persons also got the link, did they pay and all that. Today's session is free to everybody who registered for this program. And we're making this clarification so you understand the reason why we have the commitment fee attached to it. It's just to get a commitment to the end, till the end of the program. Okay, so please, if there is any inconvenience that this might have caused, we apologize for that, but we believe that you would get value for your time in the course of this whole trainings. Rule number 5, ensure you fill out the attendance form for every session. It is a proof that you were present during the session, and also ensure to fill out the feedback form. It will help us give you the best service. All right, so please fill out the feedback forms, attendance forms as they are dropped on the chat room. Boma, I hope we have all those links. We have the attendance form link on the chat room. Later on the program would have the feedback form link. So please do engage those links as we drop them. And now rule number 6, feel free to chat your questions in the chat room or wait for the Q&A segment to ask your questions, except when the trainer permits for questions during the training. So we want to maintain orderliness during the training, but in cases where the trainer would say, oh, feel free to stop me and ask your questions as I progress, then you can do that. All right. Okay, so here we have our website. Okay, Boma, I think you can also share on the link on the chat room, our website. Follow us on our social media pages. Okay, social media pages, we have them available. Follow us for every update that we have coming your way. So admission link, this admission link simply for those who wish to study with Transformation College come 2024. Admission is currently on. It's either you visit the website and you see the register now link, or you can immediately click on this link. Boma, you can share the admission link on the webpage so they can save that as well. Then you can email us if you have, if you need us to attend to any of your inquiries, and you can easily call us. We've been receiving your calls and we appreciate your calls. Okay, here we have our social media handles. Please follow us for every update. And most importantly, we've had people asking about the recorded version of these trainings. Okay, so the good news is that on our YouTube channel, okay, all the training sessions will be uploaded on our YouTube channel for easy access and replay. So go follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel to be part of, to replay and relearn from the sessions, right? Okay, so we'll be sharing the attendance form for the first session, for the third session in the course of the program, and of course the feedback form. We'll also be sharing the links on the chat room. Okay, so for those of you who are present on this chat today and you have not yet made payment, today, like I said, is free for everybody who have registered. We have over 800 to 900 persons who have registered, but not up to 200 or so on the paid list or have paid their commitment fee. So please do yourself a favor, pay up. We still have the windows open for you today to pay up. So you can join from the next session next weekend. It will be strictly for those who have committed to be part of the training throughout. All right, so please, Boma, you can as well chat the account details on the chat room, and let's have them making their payments or getting ready for the next session. All right, so this is our general overview for this morning. And without further waste of time, we would like to straight away introduce the first trainer today who will be taking us on the overview of the Student Excellence Program. And to do that, let me welcome the proprietor of our college in the person of Dr. Orlando Odejide. All right, Doctor, you can take it up from here.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Edith. Once again, we welcome everybody onto this call. Indeed, it's a pleasure to have you here, and we're very honored to have you leave your Saturday to come to learn. It's very interesting because education is not critical to a lot of people, or should I say professional education, which is like what we are trying to specialize in. if this was something that's got to do with Big Brothers or something along those lines. You can imagine the number of people who will be on the call. And thank you very much, Edith, once again for bringing all the clarification as it is. So we've got almost 1,000 people who have registered for this course. And we really just wanted to weed off people to say, well, let's know those that are serious. Because to complete this course, you're going to have to pass about 33 different assessments. About 33 different assessments is what you will have to pass. And if you don't go through those assessments, you just won't complete the course. And a lot of people don't take these things into keen consideration. So once again, thank you very much, everybody, for being here. I have some of my seniors here. I have very advanced people here. I can see my friend. I even have people who are directors in all sorts of organizations. I can see my friend Senator. I can see Anderson. I can see a couple of very senior people who are very big men and women, the people I consider to be my seniors on the call. So it's great to have all of you here. First thing we're going to talk about, the first session today is the Excellence Program. I've got a very great, good friend of mine, a member of our board, is Babatokpe Makun. We call him T-Mac. Everybody should call, everybody calls him T-Mac. And I've known T-Mac for maybe definitely about 15 years thereabouts. And he's indeed, he's somebody that I respect. We when we were thinking about the today's theme is really just excellence. And once again, I was thinking about who is it that kind of is an epitome of this kind of thing, or an epitome of the this the theme called excellence. Just like when we had the opening last week Sunday, I had my friend Pastor Adiolu, and he's one of the people that I consider to be excellent. So I was thinking about who else would be great for this, and we had to speak with T-Mac, and he's graciously granted us his time to be here. I don't want to have to read his entire bio to everybody. That is why I put it on my screen. I think he will do. Once you listen to him and he will be speaking to us over the next 45 minutes, you will know why we invited him here. And once again, Timak, we're extremely grateful that you've taken out of your time to be here at such a short notice. We do not take these things for granted. We're glad that you're contributing your quota, not just to the school, but literally to Nigeria, because all that we're focused on is how we can contribute our own quota to Nigeria as a country. And we do believe that the participants of all our training programs will end up being better for it as it is. So once again, Timak is a global expert. He does all sorts of great things, from product management to sales to transformational projects for different organizations, so to speak. So I won't take too much of your time any longer. Please welcome with me, please. Welcome with me in the chat room, everybody. Put your hands together for Mr. T-Mac. Thank you, T-Mac. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Oga Orlando, how can I say no now? When my Oga calls me, I have to stop everything to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be here, and I sincerely hope that you also appreciate the privilege you have to be on this program. When we were starting our career, we were all in the jungle. There was nobody looking out for anybody. But to have this type of program come up, and you have people who are keen to invest in you and beg you literally to say, just come. I think it's something you need to take serious. The problem, usually, like you said, is that once it's not skit and it's not Big Brother Nigeria, people do not understand the way success is created. But I hope that by the time I'm done today, I will have nudged you a little further in the direction that I believe that you should be going. Okay, so welcome once again. And like you've been told, I do not want to repeat that. This is Transformation College, and We are starting today by focusing on the Student Excellence Program overview. The idea is to take a 35,000 feet above sea level view of this program, let you know what's in it, give you more reasons than one why you have to commit to this program and what you stand to get. But I like to start always by asking the why question. And so, I know we are many. If the administrators won't mind, I usually like to have some voice participation. So I noticed that the mics have been disabled. If you can just for the next 2-3 minutes, allow that. But also you can go to the chat room. Why did you sign up for this program? I need you to chat me up. And by the way, some people were saying that they couldn't hear us. I am assuming that you can hear me. Please, if you can hear me, please say, give me thumbs up or say yes, yes. And if you still cannot hear,
loud and clear.
Thank you very much. If you cannot hear, like I said, you may want to check your settings.
Loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Or you may want to log out and log back in. Log back in. So
we can hear you clearly, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm interested in establishing your why, because if your why is not clear, we are only wasting time. So why did you sign up for this program? If you want to talk, you can raise your hand or you can go to the chat room and chat me up. Even though this is virtual, I try to do my best to make it as intimate as possible. So I'd like to know your why. We can't take everybody's comments. We have like 94 people here or 84 people. But let's take a few. Why are you here? Why did you decide to sign up for this program? Or you have not even thought it through. You are just checking to see what we're all about. I want to make data-driven decision. Yes. Oluwatosin, I think. Self-improvement, thank you. Yes, more. Anybody, I can see a hand. Adenike, please unmute and speak. You have just 60 seconds. Adenike, yes, go ahead if you can speak. And please make sure there is no noise. Going outside the box, thank you. Awurinde, I signed up. I lost that now. I thought Adenike wanted to say something. Okay, she lowered her hand. All right, some of the modules.
Yes, I wanted to. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. I signed up for this program, I think majorly because of the QSHE parts. You know, I sit on the boards where they talk about QSHE and how important it is to the company and the community. So I decided to just expand my knowledge in that area and to understand it better. So when next we're having board meetings, I'm able to contribute meaningfully. So yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining. So if you are just starting here and you hear board members coming for this training, then I hope that rings a bell in your head that you are getting a bridge. Your journey is being shortened to see what they are seeing at that level right now. So thank you very much. The reason why this is important is it is not unusual that many people have signed up on this program because, oh, they say it's free, oh, the topics are so interesting. But like Dr. Odejide said, they've not taken keen notice that this is not a fly-through. And if your why is not clear, even if you pay the money, you will still not complete the program. So we are not interested in your money, but we need you to know that this is not just something that is careless. And like I told an audience like 2 days ago, and I'm going to say it here again, if you are not doing more than you are paid to do, you are not likely to ever get to the point where you get paid more than what you are doing. I will get to a slide in this, my presentation, that I speak about the success equation. Most people miss this. And it's the reason why you see so many people thinking that there's some ritual that they can do to make them rich. And they've never stopped to say the man who is helping you do helping them do the ritual. Why is he not rich? Why is nobody thinking about that? If he could really make you rich in a sustainable manner, why is he living where he's living how he's living, looking up to you to keep him afloat? Because we forget that there is a method to it, there is a process to it. It's not random. If it was so easy, you will see everybody doing it. So from being scammed by people who promise you money doubling, from being scammed by people who say come and do ritual, is the fact that people forget that there is a process to this thing. And it starts with your why. If you understand that if you add value to yourself, you will be able to create value for other people. And when you create value for other people, you then end up creating value for yourself. And the stronger that cycle is, the better for you. That's why we are here today. So I'm challenging you to stop and establish your why. The meaning is that between now and Christmas, let me put it very quickly, 23rd of December tells you it is 2 days to Christmas. Between now and Christmas, you will have to adjust your schedule and give this program about 4 hours every weekend on a consistent basis. If you missed it, you've been told that if you do not complete all the modules, you will not be qualified for the certificate. But the certificate is even half of the conversation. The bigger half is the learning, the knowledge that you have to acquire. And that is what this is all about. So I'm not going to spend so much time on this anymore. We've already gone through this, who we are, what we do, who we are targeting. The whole essence is to contribute our little quota to make quality knowledge that is based on practice and expertise. Orlando was very humble. If I tell you his portfolio, local, international, the kind of stuff and gigs that he's been into, and all the other senior people here, you get to appreciate the fact that you have the benefit of taking the wealth of knowledge that shortens your journey. And that is important. It shortens your journey. You don't have to ramble. Some people here, the value you are going to take away from this program is clarity to say, okay, this is not for me, this is for me. So it is critical that you appreciate this. This can make your journey 5, 6, 7 years shorter, meaning your path to your destination is shorter because your waste and your mistakes and your missing the road is eliminated by just being behind such a program like this. Now, what is the vision of Transformation College? It is to be the #1 educational institution in West Africa when it comes to equipping people with transformational knowledge, skills, and capabilities. We want to be the reference point. We are just starting that journey in earnest, but we want to be the reference point that across, not just even West Africa, across Africa, when organizations, individuals think about transformational knowledge, hybrid, whichever way you want it, our name will be #1. And that is where we are going. And we're inviting you to come with us on this journey. And I'm sure that it will be worth your while. And what's our mission? We are starting by raising a generation of highly skilled professionals. So whether you are an SS student here, you probably don't even understand what the world of work looks like. You don't even understand what these courses look like. Don't break your head. Just soak it in. One of the biggest things I learned this year is that innovation is an input process. Creativity is an input process. We used to think of creativity, I used to think of creativity as you bringing something out, but sometimes this year I read and it really struck me that creativity is an input process. As we are here, how many? 80, 90 on this program, and we are hearing the same thing, but we can do 98 different things with what has gone in, and that's where creativity comes in. So if you are just starting here, you are just finishing degree, you're just finishing secondary school, and you don't even have any idea of what this all means, don't bother your head, just take it in. There's a way your unique configuration will manipulate and massage and create new things from it that is unique to you. And that's what makes the world a very interesting place. So wherever you are in your journey, we are interested in getting you better skilled. And like I said, as we go down the line, I will get to some of the specifics. So why the program? Like I've said, quality students, excellent students, preparing them for the world of work. And very important, to give a distinct advantage. You cannot go through this program, let's say you are a youth corper or you are just out of service, and you go to interviews and you will not see the difference in the way you respond to questions. It's not possible. You can't be in any sphere of life that you would go through this program and something will not be added to your mind in terms of how you read the world and how you interpret data and how you engage situations, myself inclusive, because learning is a never-ending exercise. So that it's not possible for you to go through this program and you will not have an advantage added to you. And if you are here, you are trying to pivot in your career, you are trying to explore other things, maybe you're not even sure which one to go for, this is a very good exploratory ground for you, because by going through this, you at least have an idea of what is in all those spaces, and if anything resonates with you, you are able to pick it up and run with it. And we are very, very particular about our students. And that is why we are very particular about the process. This is not just about the certificate. This is about you acquiring value such that somewhere down your journey, you can point to this program and say that in my journey, this program contributed something. That is the biggest form of advertisement for what we are trying to do. That is the biggest form of marketing. When we say to be the reference point in Africa, it is because we would invest intentionally in all participants so that when they go out there, they can wear our badge with pride, they can wear our badge with confidence, and through them, and there is no better means, we can then grow the brand. So you can be sure that this is not a wishy-washy journey. We are not just going through this to check a box and say, we did something in 2023. No, this program is particularly interested in you. And that's why through the assessment and all the channels there, if there are things that are not clear, things you need help with, reach out. Because we are not just going through the motion, we are personally interested in you. We consider our products as our ambassadors, and it starts with the interaction that we're going to have with you. So I'm running for time now. Let's fly down a little and start focusing on what we are going to cover over the next 12 weeks. We will be talking about personal vision and goal setting. That's why I spoke about why. When the use of something is not clearly established, abuse is inevitable. If your purpose is not clear, it is difficult for you to make anything else work. Everything else will just be a guess, will be a ramble, will be a gamble. So, because this is about excellence, we try to do it from first principles. If you are here and your purpose is not clear, make sure you don't miss that session, because once purpose is established, then you can now project it into vision. You can break your vision down into specific goals and milestones that lead you step by step. People are busy pursuing and looking for happiness. And I'm not here to teach on that today, but one of the key elements of joy and happiness is progress. Progress. But you can't talk about progress when there is no destination. Because if you don't know where you are going, any road leads you there. It just becomes a running around. Have you ever been messed up with Google Maps before? And they say, turn right, then you turn right, you come back to where you were, say, turn right again. Many people are living their lives like that. So when we talk about vision and goal setting, it's foundational. If you don't have that, nothing else will make real sense. It will just be motion, a lot of motion, minimal movement. We talk about ethics, a very interesting topic in Nigeria today. I was listening to the news this week and I saw Alison Desiani again in the news from one court to another. There's a lot going on right now. Many people are thinking that ethics is no longer relevant in the business world. But I tell you that without ethics, no matter the success you achieve, it is just an accident waiting to happen. And I do not want to mention names on this program. Just look around. People who were celebrated a few days, a few years ago, and where they are. And there are many people who are currently being celebrated that in a few months and years, all the celebration will have paled into insignificance because of what is going to go on. Ethics is what preserves you. Ethics is what makes you sleep well at night. I used to be an A signatory in MTN Nigeria. I'm not talking about myself today, but this is very important. A signatory means I alone can sign out anything. In fact, there was a point, 2001, 2002, when I alone was signing about, at that time, about 2 billion naira bonuses every week. Sorry, every month to my distributors. It was called commissions. It was a new company, so the structures, the systems were not yet in place, but we had to keep the distributors happy. I have never lost my sleep about somebody coming tomorrow and say, oh, they found out that you took this, you took that. It doesn't matter. It's over how many years now? Ethics is what makes you sleep well at night. You are not, because once you are not ethical, it's only a matter of time. It's an accident waiting to happen. You are going to be taught about etiquette and decorum. Many people think that it's a world without laws anymore. I heard of a young man in the United Kingdom this last week who studied accounting, the son of a pastor. And I'm not trolling or dragging anybody on anything right now. I am just telling a story. Who studied accounting, finished, and he was really passionate about that accounting. He wanted to practice. Finished, qualified, and then month after month after month after month, he couldn't get a job. Why? He was carrying dreadlocks, and he's a guy, and I'm not saying anything about those who wear dreadlocks. I'm just saying that there are things that go with certain things. Dreadlocks, earrings, tattoos, and then you walk in and you are looking for a role as an accountant. By the way, I'm an accountant. There are certain rules that are traditional. This very last week or week before, one of my sisters had to appear in a court. True life story. And the lawyer that was for one of the parties approached the judge, and the judge looked at him and said, wait a minute, you are wearing blue. Our color is black. And that was the end. The judge gave that lawyer a proper dress down and adjourned the case, that if you cannot appear before me, everybody, don't come again before my court. There are ways and ways of doing things. The world wants us to believe that the rules are forgotten. No. And the only time you realize is when something begins to happen. There are principles. There is a way you carry yourself. There's a way you project yourself. There's a way you present yourself. If you miss those fundamentals, you won't stand out. If you are really interested in standing out, then you need to pay attention to etiquette and decorum. There's a way you appear for interviews. There is a way you eat when you are at the table. There is a way you hold cutlery. There is a way you address people, whether in public or private. There are principles around these things that have been proven. We'll cover that in etiquette and decorum. You also have resilience. Another word for that is grit. And I've said that already. Just show me one person who has succeeded and had it smooth sailing. The name of the game is grit. And if there's anything this generation that is coming behind is missing, is the fact that they think that everything is like microwave. Just put it there, 5 minutes is hot. Life is not like that. Okay? It's about resilience. It's about grit. It's about having that staying power. It's about knowing that success and failures are two sides of the same coin, and show me somebody who has succeeded and I'll show somebody who has failed many times over. So it is not accidental. You don't just succeed by accident. You must have that staying power. Interpersonal relationship skills. When it comes to career or even life, it is not just about work. It's about network. So I tell people, don't just work, network. Network from the person that is sitting across your table. You never can tell. There are people who are in government today that were friends, we had business dealings together. How did you relate at that time? If you had not related well now, it's too late. So learn not just to acquire skills. In fact, the farther you go in your career, the more of the human skills, sometimes they are called soft skills, but the more of the human skills that you need. If you don't get that in, even your technical skills will become a liability for you. You won't get the full value out of it. So interpersonal relationships, so important as a member of a small team. In fact, a Harvard research showed that even to live long, you must have good social skills. It's about how connected you are with people and things going on around you. So this is not a skill just for the purpose of making that daily bread you are looking for. It's a skill that affects how you live and how long you live. Personal branding, I already touched on that. But beyond even the dressing is what you are known for. So people, there's hardly anybody who knows me who can talk about me without talking about my heart. I have had this brand for the best part of my life, from uni actually. And it was intentional. Not necessarily because I'm from the Niger Delta, because you can't really call me, even though my state has some part of Niger Delta, but this heart is not about where I'm from. There was just a means, something I just love, and I decided to brand myself about. How branded are you? You can't be close to me and you will not know certain things. It's just straight, the kind of soft things I drink, how I like to organize my attitude towards time, my attitude towards excellence. How are you branded? Are you just an anyhow person? Or you are intentional? It comes with this burden. It has a lot of pressure on you. And I don't want to talk about this. I am feeling so exhausted. I just ran a whole week training in Zaria. I came back yesterday afternoon. I was so exhausted. The lady Edith that was chasing me, we were wondering what kind of person is this. I couldn't even answer her. I had to come by train to Abuja, then wait to fly to Lagos. As I finish this program, I'm going to be looking for how to catch my breath. But once I've decided to do it, there is no middle ground. You just have to brand yourself. What's your signature? What's your autograph? How do you autograph your life? When people think about you, what do they think of? Speaking, elocution. The better your command, the better your presentation, the better your reach. And if you are planning to go far and go high and deal with the who is who and where serious decisions are taken, then you must learn how to speak. Powerful model, you can't miss it. Communication skills. I teach this a lot. And recently, I think this last week, it just occurred to me that This is actually the biggest and most intensive activity of the human race. Think about it. I think it struck me when I just looked around. Like I said, I came back from a session this week, and you will find many people on WhatsApp. I'm not sure there is any app. I was just occurring to me to go and find out, like, which app has the biggest usage globally. And you will find out, and I've not done this, I'm almost certain that it's going to be around apps that has to do with communication. The biggest activity, the biggest human activity, the most intense human activity is communication. In fact, psychology says that we talk to ourselves more than we talk to anybody else. So between you talking to yourself, between you talking to other people, it's communication. Does it then now help us to understand why it's so critical? Wars are fought, marriages break down, people get married, companies are formed, great things happen. A lot go on the back of communication. But because it is so native to us as human beings, we think it is simple. It is not simple. There are rules to it. There are things you need to be aware of, both in the official line and in the unofficial line. It is therefore super important that you pay attention to communication. And I can tell you that this module can't cover it all. So most of the things that that I've gone through and that we're going to go through here, they are more like introductory. And that is why you've been told that admission is in progress, class starts in January. But even if you don't have money for these things, go online. There's nothing you want to learn to do now that you can't find out to do. You just have to be hungry for it. You must be ready to push for it. But communication is so important. It makes so much difference. I have heard about entrepreneurs and senior people who are willing to pay premium for people who just have the code to communication. Communication is so important, so important. So you can't miss that. Social intelligence and negotiation. Somebody said, life does not give you what you deserve, it gives you what you negotiate. So if you want to get the most out of life, you must learn how to negotiate. And it starts social intelligence, emotional agility. Everything in that space helps you to know how to manage yourself so you can connect, so you can relate, and then you can negotiate the best deals possible for yourself out of life. And of course, leadership. That's one thing I'm extremely passionate about. If you cannot lead yourself, you can't lead other people. Leadership is not about position. It's not about title. It's not about power. Leadership is about influence. Leadership is about mindset. Leadership is about skill set. Again, you get enough to get you started. And these topics have been carefully choreographed. It's like a chef, painstakingly picking the pieces just to give you the foundation that you need to get started. So this is just a tip, a 35,000 feet above sea level view of what we have in store. Numbers, tell me the top 2 things you are excited about here. Remember that in addition to all of this, we have the ISO certification training that is going to be on the technical side. So, but for this 10 that I have here, can you please just chat in and let me know what are your top two topics of interest here, quickly, just by typing the numbers. Yes, leadership and communication. Yes, I want to see anybody. Thank you, Daniel. 8 and 7, communication and speaking elocution. 1 and 10, 5 and 8. Okay, this is what I was looking for. So I believe that different people will have different areas of interest. Don't miss anyone. Make sure you make it a date with us as we go topic by topic. So this is the program overview for the topics that have been covered. 14th of October, 21st of October, 28th November, and it takes all to December. You certainly should have seen the flyer that contains the programming detail. A few tweaks have been done between the initial one and now, but nothing major. We will share the updated one, and you will have the opportunity to know what is coming on when. Again, remember, if you want the certificate, you must go through every single module. Otherwise, you will not be able to get the certificate. This has already been told you as well. You need to take the assessment after every session. You're getting the certificate is conditioned on taking the assessment. These are our links. You can go and check it out. And if you're interested in admission, go to the admission link, check it out. Or some of us prefer to talk to somebody. This is the line to call, 912-718-3212. 912-718-3212. That is 0912-718-3212. If you are a social media person, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, YouTube, these are our handles. And like you've been told, not just for this class, but for subsequent ones, you can always go onto our YouTube channel and check it out and refresh and refresh. And sometimes you even hear something you are not entirely sure how is relevant. And then sometimes later it becomes more relevant. You can go back and check it out. So that's it. Now, let me then start to approach the tarmac as I try to land. After all that we have outlined is achieved on 23rd of December, God sparing our lives and tarrying, we want to do the graduation. What exactly is the why of this program? What are we looking to achieve? The first thing is that we are looking to deliver to the world a set of impacted students. Students who would have been impacted by the content, by the interactions, by the different modules, by different quizzes, by different people that they're going to meet on this program. And so the students that is showing up at the graduation ceremony is completely different from the student that started the program. This is the first desire of this program. And I want you to take special note of this because you are responsible for making that impact happen. And I'll get to it in a bit. So keep checking yourself week after week. Have I been impacted? Have I been maximally impacted? What do I need to do to make the most of this program? Extremely important. Make sure you bear this in mind. Now, the students are not being impacted just for the sake of it. You are being impacted to go out and impact your world of work, your world at home, your world wherever you are. Because what you don't use, you lose. The real value of the impact is when you apply it somewhere else. It must show up at work. Your boss must see you and say, what happened? You write better, you speak better. Who spoke to you? What changed you? And then, like I said, you can say, oh, transformational college. That's where this came from. So we are not just interested in a certificate to be framed and hung on the wall. That's not the agenda. The agenda is you are impacted to impact the world, but ultimately is for you to achieve success. As you get impacted, you impact the world, then you accumulate and accrue the success to yourself. Because in the long run, everybody works for himself. Everybody works for himself. It does not matter who is paying your salary. It matters not what ID card you are carrying until you get the fact that everybody works for himself. you will not change the way you engage work, probably will never finish this program. So you need to understand this is about being impacted, impacting your world, and then you earning the benefit that comes from it. And it is all about something. It's about you achieving success. And it's all about success, about something that we all look forward to. Now, please look at this screen. I want us to do this exercise in 2 minutes. What is the success sequence? I'm going to pull up 3 words now, and I want you to arrange them in the sequence that you think it builds up to success. So you have do, you have be, you have get. How many people have heard of the word arrive? They say, ah, that guy has arrived. Okay. I'm sure recently on the back of this Mohbad issue, and I've been listening to a lot of interviews, and one phrase keeps coming out in that space. They say they want to blow. Okay. So many people are trying to blow. The question is, in what sequence do you arrange these words to get to the point where you can blow? But don't blow out so that you don't explode. But in what sequence? Do, get, be, or be, do, get, or be, get, do. Go to the chat box and type your sequence for me. Be, do, get. That is from do, be, get, do, get, be, do, get, be. Okay. This is critical. And if you have not been paying full attention, just give me 2 minutes. The success equation starts with your being. And that's why the first module is about goals, it's about vision, it's about purpose. When you find people who are just interested in blowing anyhow, they are only accidents waiting to happen. Have you ever wondered why billionaires will commit suicide? Have you ever wondered why the people they call celebrity, they get addicted to substance? Have you ever wondered why celebrities get into depression and they check themselves into rehab? Have you ever wondered why? The reason is that success in itself is never satisfying. They say that many people are trying to get to the top of the mountain, but on top of the mountain, there is nothing. It's empty, it's bare. The view is beautiful, but if you are not in, if you miss the point that it's about the view, it's not about the top, on top of the mountain. I have the fortune of climbing the Table Mountain in Cape Town, South Africa. It's a very big tourist attraction. But when you get on top of those types of mountains, there's nothing. It's empty, it's bare. I've climbed the Dory Hill. It's empty. If you don't fix how you are being, and that's why all the modules that I've highlighted and run through, they are towards fixing your being. If you have not checked and satisfied who you should be, you are not likely going to even be doing what you should be doing. So what you get is probably never going to satisfy you. Many people are in careers that they are so unhappy. When I see people say, thank God it's Friday, I'm confused. I do not know the difference between Friday and Monday. The reason why I can get up as tired as I was last night, and by the way, I had to work on this about 1 a.m. this morning, just to be sure that I have an idea of what I'm going to talk about this morning, and get up again to be here, is because I love what I'm doing. I love it. It's not just about money. It's about just loving what you're doing. It makes you young. It makes you healthy. It makes life less of a drudgery. You have energy for life. So start with being. And that being. So the question just to answer is be, then you do, then you get. Now, this being speaks to something. And this is towards the end of my session now. It's about excellence, an unusual degree. The reason, and it used to frustrate me. I've invested about 15, 20 years of my life because my core, my purpose is to build systems and build people. I like to see things run well. So that's my drive. That's my purpose. So I've invested a lot of my time trying to train people, develop people. Everywhere I've gone, I'm always looking out for people, trying to develop them. And I've been frustrated that only very few people ever follow through. Then it occurred to me recently, about 3 years ago, that no, it's not unusual. If you know the normal distribution curve, you will know that the majority of the population are in the middle. Only very few people are in that small outlier there. Or you look at the pyramid in organization, look at the top, very narrow. The base is very wide. And that's the challenge for you if you are listening to me today. Where do you want to play? Because if you want to play in those very exotic space, you want to play at the top, it is not for everybody. You have to be unusual. Your degree of quality must not be what everybody is doing. Somebody said the difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is that little extra. You must be willing to go the extra. Excellence has to be your signature. It is about doing the right things right all the time. It's not random. It's not when it's convenient. It's not when you feel like it. And if you want to get to that level, this program affords you the opportunity to get going in that direction. You have to become extremely good. I've said some words in passing. I said, this course, even as rich as it is just a starter. It's just the beginning. If you want to go far, you have to commit to it beyond this program to run after it and become an excellent person. See, it pays richly. The reward are immeasurable. You don't stay where everybody stays. You are that exotic small space. And it's a cumulative journey. Life is cumulative. Yesterday affects today. Today will affect tomorrow. So when you want to be 10 years from now is the time to start putting those building blocks in place. I don't have time to really elaborate on this, but I begin to count down now. And I want you to take note of this. Excellence is not an act. It's not something you just throw in when you feel like. As human beings, the biggest part of our minds is our subconscious. Our subconscious, our habit mind. Therefore, our biggest. They say you can't choose your destiny. Man cannot choose his destiny. Man can only choose his habit. His habits will determine where he ends. And the question is, if you look at the way you are currently configured and how you are living, how you are spending time, how you are relating, how you are investing in yourself. Somebody say empty your pocket to fill your brain. How are you empty? How are you filling your brain? How are you developing? Project it 10 years from now and check where you think you are going to end. The world that we are in is for the learners. The learned are soon going to be framed inside museums as relics of the past because it's changing so fast that the learned are soon on their way to the museum. Only the learners are going to remain relevant. New things will come, they will have to relearn and unlearn, but they are always in the class trying to become better. Which one are you, learner or learned? And that is why this program is being held. So if you are going to succeed in this program, I'm going to put two things in your mind. And I think after this, I think I'm done, or one more slide. You have to be committed to it, and you have to be disciplined about it. We've spoken about commitment, so let me go to discipline. And this is my definition of discipline, okay? Discipline has to do with you learning to push yourself forward, leading yourself, motivating yourself, even when you don't feel like it. You cannot trust your feelings. Sometimes your body will feel like, no, I don't want to get up. Discipline says, get up, because you got something to do. Time can't be held down. You can't accrue. You cannot suspend. You can't pause. Tick tock, say the clock. So what you got to do, run, do it. If you don't bring commitment and discipline to this program, you are not likely going to ever finish or make the most out of it. So it's about you becoming exceptional. It's about excellence and unusual quality. That quality, that unusual is not common. You need to work towards it. You will need commitment. You will need discipline. But most of all, you must take personal responsibility for it. There will be enough excuses, but leaders are those, winners are those who learn to win despite and in spite of all excuses and obstacles. So you want to make the most of this program, take responsibility for it. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go too deep, but I hope I've been able to inspire you and ignite you to be committed to this program and understand how much difference this program is going to make for you in your journey. And all I can do is wish you all the best and be hopeful that on December 23rd, you will be here, not just for the ceremony, not just for the certificate, but to have been transformed, to have been impacted and ready. In fact, not just ready, already impacting your world and already achieving the success that you so seriously desire. Thank you, everybody, for your time, and thank you for your kind listening. I hope you've benefited something, and thank you very much. That will be from me.
Please, a round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much, everybody. Please, questions in the chat room. I mentioned to you, I mean, this is what T-Mac does for a living, and this is what he does globally. So once again, we're grateful to you that you've taken the time on this Saturday morning. If we wanted to pay you, even if we collect our 3-5 from 500 people, I'm not sure we'll pay you for an hour of your time as it is. So once again, thank you very much. Questions, everybody? Chat room, quickly, so that he can attend to it as we move on to the next session very quickly. Anybody? Questions? If you've got any questions, thoughts, opinion. So, Tima, please go to the chat room. I think a lot of people have been putting a couple of things.
All I'm saying is thank you.
People are thanking you. That's very important.
That's all I see. I've not seen any question.
Important. But beyond that, also, you can also put your social media details, Timac, in the chat room. A lot of people will be happy to follow you on different platforms as it is. I know you also you have a huge mentoring community as it is, and I'm certain that people will really want to also benefit from your mentoring session. So I know he does a lot of mentoring. Yeah, so Timac, you can speak about that in a minute, and if there are any questions you can answer, and then we'll move on to the next session. Go ahead.
Thank
Timac.
you. I can see when are we going to choose our course? I assume that you are talking about this discovering purpose, and like I said, the first module is our vision and goals. So if I am right, I think that's Oguntade Okpeyemi. If I'm not sure I understand that question, but if that is it, then just watch out, and that's the next module, I believe, and then you will be able to get. Are we going to get a manual for the training?
Yes. You will get all the necessary materials for the training. Absolutely.
The writing, will it teach us about meetings, writing and cover letter writing? Okay, I assume that about CV writing. Okay, CV and cover letter. Okay. Yes.
Yes. It will definitely cover that as part of it. Yes.
By the time we have a clearer view of the participants, some of those specifics will be better to assess. So, which is why, please, if you are really keen on this program, show by 3,500. That's why it is not 35,000. So
even a lot of people who are paid are not even here.
Exactly.
So
Now that's why
even the
so
people who have actually paid their enrollment fee, they're not even here. So, so you can see how interesting it is, right? All right.
How long time duration is the weekend class? Starts at 10, finish at 2, boss, correct?
At 2:30, yes. It starts at 10 and finishes by 2:30 every day.
So there's a 30 minutes break in between.
In between,
Okay.
yes, pretty much.
Okay, so
okay, Timak, apart from that, you probably want to quickly speak about your mentoring and how people can.
So I'm very heavy on building people. I have an NGO that's called DLI, Development, Empowerment, and Leadership Initiative. I will drop on the chat box now. Once I'm done talking, I will just copy the links and drop the links there. And every month, every last Saturday, I hold a mentoring session. Just speak on real life issues. I'm targeting professionals, whether you are an employee, whether you are in employment or you are an entrepreneur, just to share, and not just about me, bring other experienced people, just bring them in. I suffered a lot for lack of coaching and mentoring early in my journey. A lot of the battles, a lot of the pains will have been avoided if I had people to point the way. My mission is to see how I can bring all the people that I have in my network with my own experience as well, to just see how we can make the journey of those who are coming behind just a little easier. It will not be easy, but easier, so that avoidable mistakes can be avoided. So I will drop the link. Feel free to come in and then join us. We have one later on this month. And if you're on that group, you will get the notification, and hopefully we can contribute something to your success. Thank you very much.
Good. Once again, thank you very much, Mike, for the great session. We're grateful to you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We can only say God bless you and increase you in every way. Thank you. All right, people. So please just go ahead and drop all the things in the chat room. And as I said, so let's move on straight into the next session. The next session, we're going to be talking about ISO standards. And you remember that this particular course is the certificate program in business analysis and in management systems. So when we say management systems, we actually mean ISO standards. So this particular course is the certificate course in business analysis and management systems. So the management system side is what is really about ISO standards. And if you have the flyer, you will see that today we're going to just do some kind of overview over the next 50 minutes thereabout, the overview of ISO standards. And then every week, and I mean every week, we're going to then cover one ISO standard after the other. Every week, we're going to cover one ISO standard after the other. And you will see that some of the ISO standards are very much IT related. Some of them are very much business related. Some of them are environmental, so to speak. So we're going to learn about ISO standards. In fact, the idea is that by the time we finish this course, everybody will literally be some kind of expert when it comes to the use and the adoption of ISO standards. So that is important and that is critical, so to speak. I put some links. Everybody, if you go to the chat room, I have put some links in the chat room. One of those links, first, is that you must even know that there is an international standard organization, right? So there's an entity called ISO. You must know that. You must have to be able to go to their website. And so if you check in the chat room, you will see where I have dropped some of the links talking about ISO as an organization. So if you bear with me, let me just share my screen with you. So I dropped this link, everybody, and this is a very important link, because on this link, you'll be able to see you should go here. Once again, I dropped it before. I can drop it again. It's a brilliant link. There's some useful documents that if you really want to become some kind of ISO expert, I've been very fortunate. I've been doing ISO standards for different types of organizations and even other types of standards and best practice for the past, definitely at least for a dozen years. Actually, what am I saying? for definitely way more than a dozen years as it is. So, and this is what we do primarily. In fact, it is the work that we do around ISO that is sponsoring this whole program as it is. So everybody, if you go here on your phones, on your computers, you will see some four very useful documents that it will be nice for you to look at. One of them is called the economic benefits of standards. That, you know, why should you even be a standards expert? Why should you know anything that's got to do with standards? So that's one of them. And then, of course, the next one is something that talks about ISO methodology. These are all PDFs that you can download. And then you'd also see some further conversation around the economic benefits of standards, volume 1 and volume 2. So for the people who really want to go into ISO work, you will find this very useful. This is another link that is great, that just talks about ISO for medium-sized organizations. So the idea behind an ISO standard is a standard by which you do things, right? That's what it talks about, right? Is there a standard by which you should be doing things? Should you do things anyhow? Or how do you even know what is the global standard for doing something? I remember earlier this year, I was doing something on corporate governance, and then I'd gone for a corporate governance course somewhere, and I'd completed the course. But during the course, I looked at it because I'm very familiar with ISO standards, and they said a lot of great things during the course, and I felt that the course was extremely good and useful, but they could not really point to any kind of standard for doing things. They couldn't really point to any kind of standard for corporate governance. It was almost like they were teaching us corporate governance from the thoughts and the perspective of different people. So it's almost like different people would say that this is what I believe, this is what I think. And, you know, I had to tell them that, you know, do you know that there is actually a standard by which corporate governance should be done? That means corporate governance should not be left to the thoughts and the opinion of people. You can also follow through with the dictates and the guidelines that in the standard. As I said, one of my friends, she's on the call, she's a director in the Ministry of Environment. Maybe she'll probably also speak on the day we're going to be doing, yes, we're probably going to create a session for her to give us our own industry thoughts around environment. But if you go online, everybody, so one of the key things you can always do to help your work is to say, okay, ISO standard for environment. That will help you a lot, because you will see automatically once you type that into Google, it will take you to somewhere. And one of the things that we'll be doing is this particular course. I don't know whether you can see my screen. We're going to be doing something on environmental management system. We're going to do it at some point in time. As I said, I'm going to get her. She said she's on the call. And our children are even on the call. So children, don't worry. You're going to get to hear mommy speak, because she's a big madam when it comes to something like this. Once again, one of my friends, I'm not sure if he's on the call. He is probably the global entity when it comes to health and safety. So one of the things you can do is to say, what is the ISO standard for health and safety, right? What is the global way by which health and safety should be practiced? What is the global way by which health and safety should be practiced? And then you will see this particular standard. So one of the things we've said is that we're going to go through 10 different standards. So as part of this whole course in itself. Today, I'm just going to give a quick overview of just speaking about standards generally then over the next 10 weeks, you're going to get the experts come in. People who, all of them are people who practice these things. They're not people who have gone to read to be able to come to tell you, you know, we're a professional institution. We run a training company called Training Heights. They are the sponsors of this particular program. So for people who are all interested in IT, one key area in IT is something like this. So you can say ISO 27001, which a lot of people who do IT are very much interested in. It talks a lot about information security. Why should you know information security? What does it use? And the value of information security. How will information security help organizations? And here, really, it starts to say things around cyber security, which is really what it is. Let me take you to the actual page I'd like to take you to. Where, yes. So it starts to tell you, and this is one of the things we're also going to cover. We're going to cover cybersecurity. So for a lot of people who keep saying that, oh, I want to know about cybersecurity. I want to be some kind of cybersecurity professional. I want to be some kind of expert when it comes to cybersecurity. You're going to get the chance and the opportunity to learn about cybersecurity on this particular program. And for some of you who want to build your career around it, then that will be great and that will be excellent for you. We're going to do something on risk management, and a lot of people want to do risk management. And the people, once again, I go to organizations, I work with different organizations. This week, I'm certain that this week that is ending today, I'm certain that at least I have spoken to, being on the call, physically been to about 4 different organizations. I've done some work with 4 different organizations this week, at least. Actually, to be precise, it is 5. So, and risk management is one of the things we talk about everywhere. Somebody's always asking around risk management, the use of risk management, the value of risk management, as it is. So, we're going to go through risk management, and so you can even go ahead. And there's some decent documentation that is even provided for free relative to some of these things. So you can even go ahead and start to look into this. Which of these things is critical and important to your own career? So once again, on this course, we're going to be doing about 10 different ISO standards. We're going to get people come to discuss them. They're not going to be very long, lengthy discussions. We're also then going to take you to a portal where you must compulsorily get 10 certificates tied to each course, because each course has a certificate. So ISO 31000 has got a certificate that you're going to get a foundation certificate. 14,000, same thing. Health and safety, the same thing for risk, the same thing for cybersecurity, for IT service management, for business continuity. And even for a lot, there's a client of ours right now who came, and this is what they are asking for: something that has got to do with customer, the customer service and customer satisfaction. This is one of the things we're also going to cover as part of this course in itself. So the idea, once again, is to kind of look for a way to turn everybody into some kind of ISO expert, at least across some certain domains. We're not going to cover all the possible domains in the world, but we're going to cover some. I mean, look, you learning and knowing something about customer satisfaction is important. It's key. It's essential. Why would you not want to know about how to make customers happy? And look at this. It provides the guidelines for complaint handling inside of organizations. So what is the approach? How do you build a complaint handling, a customer satisfaction framework for your own organization? How do you ensure that you don't lose your existing customers or lose your great customers? How do you approach these things? So each week, these are the kinds of things that we're going to be talking about. A lot of people want to know about ISO 20000, which is the standard for IT. This is the information technology standard. As I'm on this call, people are still asking me, oh, I want to get on this call with you and things like that. Today, I mean, this is week 1. The idea is for us to just, should I say, introduce these topics and these things. If at the end of this call, this 12 weeks, if you can't move up in your career, become a better person, become a better professional, become a much more valuable person, then something must have gone wrong significantly. Is either you were not listening to us, or you decided to jettison and throw away most of the things that we will say. You know, last week Sunday we launched Transformation College, and I had my friend Adiolu Agebi. He was the one who we spoke, and he was talking about. In fact, for me, I'm almost about to rewrite our vision statement in Transformation College to just call it turning Africa into the outsourcing destination. Because when he was speaking, he just kept on coming to me that that's really what we're meant to be doing. That's the thought. That how do we make Nigeria, Ghana, how do we make West Africa the outsourcing destination to ensure that people can outsource work to us in West Africa? How do I ensure that everybody that is on this call, the 100 and something people who are on this call, how do I ensure that they can earn dollars even while seated in Nigeria? What is the approach we need to follow to ensure that people that are on this call can earn dollars for customer service? I have a list of things that people outsource to India, about 45 different things. They outsource research, they outsource strategy services, they outsource payroll services, they outsource their contact center, they outsource their support centers. How do I ensure that the entire Europe and the entire America, and I mean the whole of North America and South America, can look at West Africa as the destination for outsourcing? That's the idea. So going through this course on management systems and on business analysis is one of the key things that will help ensure that this happens. Let me quickly say two things. Number one, you as a person that you're on this call, you have to be able to draw a clear line. And if you don't take anything away, apart from some of the things T-Mac has said, please take this away. You as a person, you have to be able to draw a clean line of delineation between knowledge versus skills, everybody. In Africa, what I have seen, and I think I have worked for about 23 years. I mean, formally, I started working around 2000 when I set up an organization called Set School in Ife, right? In those, with two of my friends. And I can tell you that the biggest challenge we have in Africa, definitely in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Africa, or let me just think about West Africa, is that we're very big on knowledge, but we're very low on skills. And those two things are completely different. Knowledge versus skills. We're a people that are very much about knowledge, the acquisition of knowledge. Just like some people have come for this program, and all they're thinking about is how do I get all the certificates? Because that's who we are. That's how we think. We think about our certificates, school certificates, program certificates, certificates all around. That's who we are. That's how we think. We're very much about certificates. And that's why it's very difficult for us to be a great outsourcing country or continent, because we're very knowledgeable people, but we're short on skills. Knowledge is in your head, and it is the foundation that goes without saying. However, what people pay you for, what they need you for, what they want to employ you for, what they want to outsource work to you for, is your ability to demonstrate skills. And that's where the problem is. Recently, let me be careful what I say. Some man came to our office and he had 2 PhDs, 2 formal PhDs. I mean, that is a lot. And he could not work on Excel and PowerPoint. He could not do what? Work on Excel and Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. He had 2 PhDs. And that's what I see. Sometimes we'll put out an ad for, what's it called? We'll put out an ad for accounting role. And the people will come and they will be chartered accountants. That means they own an ITIN certificate. But if you put them in front of a computer and tell them that, you know what, build a chart of accounts afresh in Excel, they can't do it. They can't format an invoice or a receipt appropriately in Excel. Let's not even discuss PowerPoint. If you tell them to make a PowerPoint presentation, the PowerPoint is going to look like a witch of some sort. And that's who we are. There's a business school that I attended at some point in time, and I had to teach everybody at that business school that I came in contact with how to use PowerPoint properly, including all my lecturers. And that was a long time ago. Because we're very much about knowledge, we're not about skills. Now, if they're going to outsource work, they're not going to need somebody who can only speak about environmental management or health and safety or information security. It's not just about the verbal speaking. It's about the demonstration of the skill that a professional should have. Most people, one of the things we're trying to get right, and that's why in Transformation College, one of the things we want to get right is our Microsoft courses. That everybody who is going to go through the school has to be an expert when it comes to the use of Microsoft Office. On this call, there were 100 and something plus people here. Do you really think that the culmination of our skill sets when it comes to, the culmination of our skill sets when it comes to Microsoft Office, do you think we can, together, if they take an average of all our skills, do you think we can score 3 over 10? I promise you we can't. When it comes to the proper use of Microsoft Word, how to create a proper table of contents, how to format documents appropriately. I'm always taking people to a particular website called informationmapping.com. Every time we do something like this, informationmapping.com, samples, and we do something like this, let me see. You will see. Yeah, I think this is, let me see. Okay, brilliant. This is what I want to show, right? You will see something like this. And if I try to expand it, it might not work, but you will see something like this. It shows a Microsoft Word document that has been typed by a normal person that even knows how to use Microsoft Word. And it shows a better way. I hope you can see my screen. And if you can look at the place that has a green tick there, it shows a better way by which a document can be formatted. Most people struggle to create this. I can tell you the only 1 or 2 out of every 10 can actually create what it is that I have that has a green tick to it to my right. The reorganization, that thing that says reorganization of a company, that says that it is much more visually appealing to create a document like this than to create it the other way. Most people don't even have an understanding of these things. As I said, the problem with Africa is that we're very much about qualifications and about certificates. I've been running a training school for only God knows how many years. I was SEP school and Training Heights. The other our organization was 20 years in the month of June. 20 years from 32 Bariki to Yede Street of Akoka in the month of June. So the challenge for most people is that we just don't have skills. People come to us, and the thing that they keep saying is that I need to get the certificate. I need to get the certificate. I know very few organizations have run more PMP courses than we have. But the people get out of the PMP courses, they don't know how to use Microsoft Project. They struggle to create a Gantt chart, but they are past the exam. During the training course, if you try to teach them the skills, they'll tell you that, Oga, we can pick up skills later. Let us focus on passing the exam now. We still did a course on cybersecurity last week for a big organization. The people in the class are saying, we want to focus on passing an exam at the expense of the skills associated with the theme or the topic. So indeed, for everybody that is here, in all you're getting, get skills. Ensure that you have the right skills to be able to do your job. That is the only way you're going to earn the dollars that we're talking about. You're not going to wish it. You're not even going to pray for it. if you have the right skills. I remember one time I told somebody, I said, if you know Excel, like, you know, if you know Excel, like you really understand Excel, and I have some people on the call, Wisdom is on the call, some great people who actually understand how to use Excel to deliver value. I said, half of your demons will go away. Because there is no office in the world. There is no office in this world that they don't use Microsoft Excel. The Citibank, HSBC, MTN, there is no institution in the world that does not use Microsoft Excel. There's none. Microsoft Excel will do more people career favors than their entire BSc or BA degrees. I have so many degrees. Degrees don't mean anything. People don't hire me because of degrees. People don't care about the degrees. They don't even call me because of the degrees. You and I are not on this call. I'm not speaking here because of degrees. It is skills. Knowledge is important, but focus on skills. I'm running out of time. Let me quickly go through a couple of things. I have a slide, one of the slides that I would like to talk about. Once again, it's important that you understand the ISO standards that are tied to your line of work, everybody. And there's an ISO standard for almost everything. There is an ISO standard for almost everything. This is the work that we do. We're not making it up. I'm looking for a slide that has good, this slide, this one, right? So on the left side, I put some business-related ISO standards. You must compulsorily know about the ISO standard for your line of work. And this is just a tiny snippet of ISO standards. On this call, the ones to the left, we're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, I believe. And I also think, so on the left, we're going to, on this, as part of this program, we're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and I believe the last one, which is for customer satisfaction, right? This should have been 02, I believe. I know there's a 2, there's also a 5, the combination of things in there, okay? And on this same course, over the next couple of weeks, we're also going to do some of the things on the right. So on the right, we're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3, and then I think number 6, and I can't even remember. So on the right, we're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3. We're definitely going to do number 6. And on the left, we're going to do number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and I think the last one in there. We're going to cover 10 different, I also believe, yes, we're going to do the one on privacy. So when people talk about NDPR, how should you all take privacy into consideration in your organization, in your line of work? Some of you are medical personnel. So people come from all sorts of backgrounds. So the idea is that please go and find out what is the ISO standard that is tied to your existing line of work, your prospective line of work, whatever that thing is. What is the name of the ISO standard that is tied to it or that is related to it? That is important for you, for everybody. The other thing, I'll just say a couple of things. Today, I'm just trying to lay some background, so to speak. Now, in all ISO standards, I always tell people that ISO standards in themselves, they're like it's like an MBA course, right? It is like an MBA course. Because on my screen, these are all themes and topics that they teach if you go for a business course, like an MBA type course. They teach all these things. In an MBA, they're going to talk about strategy. In some kind of MBA, they're going to talk about how you effectively manage stakeholders. They're going to talk about scope. They're going to talk about leadership. They're going to talk about policy. They're going to talk about organizational structures. They're going to talk about a lot of things. They're going to talk about a lot of things, right? In an MBA course. Now, all these things are in every ISO standard, literally. Literally. And that's why I believe next week, I believe we're going to start with the most important ISO standard, which is ISO 9001. I believe that is the most important ISO standard, and I believe that's what we're going to be covering next week. I will I will give you, but this in itself, so if you like, take a screenshot on your phone or your computer, this in itself is a snippet into that course we're going to be doing next week. Why should an organization have strategy? And why should they align their strategy to the various ISO standards? ISO standards, that's why they call it a standard, a reference point for doing things, an appropriate reference point, like a minimum, like a baseline, and in some instances, like a benchmark. In some instances, a baseline, in some instances, a benchmark for how to do things and how things should be done. There's nobody in this world that should not know about strategy. 14-year-olds should know about strategy. 15-year-olds should know about strategy. 16-year-olds should know about strategy. Let's not even talk about 40 or 50-year-olds like myself, right? And that's one of the things you will look at within this things, because the standards demand that the organization has a documented strategy, and then the documented strategy must be aligned to the strategy for the adoption of any ISO standard. Managing stakeholders is a key skill in life. I mean, Robert Greene, his last book says the law of human nature, isn't it? The guy who wrote 48 Laws of Power and Mastery and all those books. Everybody tells you your inability to be able to manage people is going to ensure that you never achieve your dreams. I know loads of brilliant people, but they don't have social intelligence. They can't manage people. They just want to sit in a cubicle somewhere. They're never going to get to anywhere, because you can't get anywhere in life without learning how to manage people. You manage up, you manage down, you manage sideways. That's critical. So the standards talks about stakeholder management, different approaches by which you can manage your stakeholders. You manage your stakeholders to the extent of ensuring that you achieve your goals and your objectives from life generally, for your organization, and from the adoption of a management system. Each management system has got to have an initial scope, and it's got to have a scope. Scope is important. On this course, we cannot do everything. There is a certain scope, and that's why we're very clear in our documentation, so that you know what the expectations are. We can't cover everything. We're giving an introduction, because some of these things that we want to do in 1.5 hours, well, if 9001, we're going to do it in 1.5 hours. We're just going to give you an introduction into it, because if you come to Training Heights and you come to do the course, it will take you a minimum of about 24 hours to be able to complete the course. Did you hear that? A minimum of about 24 hours. In some instances, it takes about 30 to 36 hours to complete it. But we're going to ensure that everybody has the associated knowledge and the skills, at least at the foundational level, and then you can build on that. Leadership is also one of the things that is being covered within the ISO standards. How can the leaders demonstrate commitment to something? And you know what they say, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is key. And if we're going to get anywhere as a country, 16-year-olds need to know what the things that are on my screen. And that's the idea. 16-year-olds need to be able to speak intelligently. That, do you know the ISO standard that is related to this? On this call, on today, and I mean, while T-Mac was speaking, my friend sent me something, and he might even be on the call. He sent me something. He said, are you able to do ISO 20,121, which is like for sustainable events today? So do you know the ISO standard? Do you know that there's an ISO standard even tied to local government elections? Somebody can check for me online and put the name of the standard in the chat room. There's even a standard for local government elections. There's a standard for managing documents and records that every government institution needs to adopt. People talk about policies, and sometimes when I look at different policies that organizations say that they have, you find out that some of these policies are not designed appropriately, they're not complete, they've been written anyhow by somebody who does not really understand how policies should be appropriately documented. Once again, this is not beyond what 16-year-olds can do. 16-year-olds in many parts of the world, in China, they do miraculous things. The problem is that our educational system is very much focused on the children acquiring knowledge, not acquiring skills. And you know the problem with knowledge, you forget. I was sharing with somebody last week. I said, I can't pass WAEC. Honestly, I can't. If you give me those WAEC questions, my kids are in senior secondary school. When they bring their stuff, I can't even make sense of some of those things. I passed WAEC at some point in time in my life, but I can't remember all those things any longer because I don't use them. And what you don't use, you forget. And that's the difference between that and skills. Skills is what I have. It's part of me. It's in my brain. One of my sisters, she runs she makes clothes. If she doesn't make clothes for 5 years and she comes back and handles a sewing machine, she will still make perfect clothes. Because skills are a part of you. Knowledge you forget. Once you don't use it, it becomes irrelevant, and over time you just forget about it. If you look at organizational structure, this is the problem in a lot of organizations, the problem of structure. There are no structures, no proper roles, no proper responsibilities that have been allocated to people. This is a challenge almost everywhere. In the standards, there's something called 6.3. As I said, today I'm laying the background, and this will significantly help next week when we're going to be doing ISO 9001. This will help you significantly. Because change is a problem. Well, change is not a problem. The management of change is a challenge for a lot of people. They can't manage change to the extent whereby that change will be advantageous to them. That's a challenge. In the standard, almost in all the standard, there's a portion in there called organizational change management. How do we manage change in such a way that change is now not detrimental to us as a people? How do we do that? This is also part of it. In there, you see something, in all the standards, you're going to see something called, how do we manage risks and opportunities? Risk is something, and usually the other name for risk is threat. Something negative. The threat that you might not get a great job next year. The threat that you might not be able to earn dollars next year. The threat that you might not be able to achieve your personal goals and aspirations. But what is the opportunity for you to do great things in the year 2024? What is the opportunity for you to become a big name, to become a global name, to become a respected person in your line of work in the year 2024? Threats and opportunities. The negative side of things, the things that can stop you, but the other things that you can take advantage of and you can exploit. On this call, we have less than 150 people listening. I know in some places they have one computer and 2-3 people are around that same computer or something like that. But I can tell you that we've gotten almost 1,000 registrations. That means people left their jobs to go to do the registration. They went to do the registration themselves. But they registered, but they're not here. Once again, how is this going to add value to them if they don't attend? Risks, the things that are threatening you, and opportunities, the things that you can take advantage of. How do you set objectives and make plans? I always tell everybody the best planning methodology in the world is something called 5 W's and 1 H. What do we want to do? I have something in here. I just don't want to have to go into the full details of this. Otherwise, we will all sleep here, so to speak. I always show people something. Hold on. Right? Right, hold on. Where's that? Okay, great. Look at it. This is the best planning methodology in the world. This is it. If you can answer these 6 questions with regards to anything that you're doing, then you're almost there, at least from a planning perspective. Actually, you're there from a planning perspective. Who needs to do what? When do they need to do it? Is there a location tied to it? Why do we need to do it? What exactly needs to be done? And the hardest question on this page is how? How do we do this? How on earth do we do this? Is what I like to tell people. How on earth do we do this? Once again, these are big things. This is a big issue. These are the kinds of things you and I need to go back, we need to think about. This is the best planning methodology. There's hardly anything you want to do. If you can answer this, you're almost there. In fact, there's only one thing I added to it. How do we measure it? If you can see my screen, I added something to, it's nice to have an objective, but objectives in themselves don't achieve anything. You know, this is not motivational speaking. This is not one of those things where we gather people at the stadium and we motivate them. If somebody is ignorant, you're only going and you motivate them, and then they become motivated ignorant people. This isn't even about the acquisition of knowledge. This is about skills. When I'm working at a client site and I put up a table like this, and I insist that before we leave the room, we must complete a table like this. That's not a demonstration of knowledge. It's a demonstration of skills. I start to ask my clients, how do we increase revenue? Why is it important that we increase revenue? What exactly do we need to do to increase revenue? Who is going to do it? When will it be done? Is it tied to a location? How do we get the increase of revenue done, and how do we measure it? This is one key thing you should take with you. It doesn't matter what your age is, whether you're planning for WAEC or you've completed WAEC, whatever that thing is, the idea is that you can say, I have a set of exams, I have A-levels, I have whatever that thing. Why is it important that I pass this exam? What exactly do I need to do? Who is going to do it? Is somebody going to write the exam for me? Who is going to help me? Am I going to need to go for remedial classes or whatever that thing is called? When do I need to do it? Am I going to do this over the weekend? Where will this be done? Is it tied to location? How will it be done? And how do I measure if I'm making progress on a weekly or monthly basis? I see, this is not a simple thing. Most organizations don't have an answer to this page. I promise you. This is tough work to do. Most companies that are getting ready for 2024, they don't even have an answer to this. Now in 2024, how do we ensure that we execute strategy? Right. How do we reduce our operational costs as a business? How do we improve efficiency? I'm telling you that 9 out of 10 companies don't have it clearly articulated like this. I can tell you that for free. Once again, these are key things. These are the important things that you and I need to know, and we need to understand, and we need to be able to follow through with things like this. I'll round up soon. I think this session is meant to end in another 30 minutes thereabout. This is one of the let me come back here first, right? So where was I? Right? So we're still on our single page. Where were we? Here, right? This is where we are. We were. I was talking about 6.2, setting objectives and planning, and that's why we looked at that. Sometimes I tell people that let's talk about resource management. Most people don't understand anything about resources. Because when they talk about resources, their mind only probably goes to one line of resource. But there are many types of resources. There's financial resource, there's human resource, there is inventory as a resource, there's equipment, there's machinery, there are all sorts of resources. So if you want to achieve something, you need to know the various categories of resources and which resource will help to do what and when. Which resource will help to do what specifically and when. Competence is important. And once again, I've said it. When we say competence, what does that mean? Is it just the acquisition of knowledge or also skills? And that's why, sometimes when people come to me, they say, oh, I want you to mentor me. I'm like, well, I don't know how to mentor you. I can only mentor you by giving you things to do. Mentorship for me is not a speech. It's just like leadership. I say it everywhere. When people say I should come to speak, I say leadership is not a speech. Leadership is not mounting a podium to talk about John Maxwell and reciting all the 21 irrefutable laws. That's not what leadership is. Leadership is your ability to do and to deliver to time and to quality to achieve results, to lead a set of people to achieve results overcoming whatever constraints you have. Money as a constraint, time as a constraint. That's what leadership is. So how do I follow a leader who does not have results, who has not been able to lead people to achieve certain objectives with some limited resources? Then how is the person a leader? Do you become a leader by speaking motivationally or by reading books? I went somewhere, the man said, oh, he has read 500 books or 1,000 books on leadership. I'm like, but where are your results? Do you have a patent? What results have you generated? It's about results. And so when we talk about competence, you have to be able to differentiate clearly knowledge versus skills. Knowledge versus skills. The awareness is part of this. Everybody in an organization, and some of you, that's what you're doing. You put your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, you put them on the call because you need them to be aware of these things. You really need people to be aware of these kinds of things. And that's what it is even when it comes to the management system, that the adoption of a management system is not just for one or two people in the organization. Awareness is key. One of the Adeolu Akiemi has probably put only maybe 20, 30, 40 people onto this program. My friend Shegun, they brought people because they need to ensure that people grow. People get better. People can become better professionals. People climb up the ladder of success. Well, sometimes our speakers they confuse us. They just speak about, sometimes I'm listening to people and I'm like, well, what is this guy saying? I can't even make sense of what he's saying. And that's why all of you need to have great communication skills. And T-Mac talked about this. And that's why you need to look at the program again. You need excellent communication skills. If I don't have great communication skills, I can't be speaking to you now. You won't even be listening. And communication skills is not just about speaking. It's also about writing. Your ability to write properly, use the right sentences, to articulate yourself, both speaking and writing. I even prefer writing to speaking because when I'm speaking off the top of my head. When I'm writing, it's almost like all my senses are together. I love to write. Writing is almost like I derive pleasure, especially when it comes to formal writing. And this is important, that you learn how to write. A lot of people tell somebody to write a one-page letter, and you will see all sorts of errors, grammatical errors, spelling errors, structure, formats, everything will just go wrong when you tell them to put up a decent letter. Now, shouldn't 15, 16-year-olds be able to type sensible letters? Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. These things are not reserved for gods. Young people, 16-year-olds, they need to know things like this. There was a lady, I still did interviews yesterday. People come in, they've graduated from university, and they can't articulate themselves. I was at the client side, and this is the head of HR. He was speaking, and I was looking at him like, he spoke for like 10 minutes, and I couldn't even pick one thing from what he said. And this is the head of HR in this organization. He was mixing his words. He will start from the beginning, you get to the middle, start from the beginning again. I'm like, Kai, how does this happen? Now, what kind of boss did this guy make? And how did he get this kind of job? He's head of HR. Document management is a key concept. There's no company in the world that does not have to manage documents. It's impossible. If that thing is an office, is an institution, mosques, churches, you must manage documents. So there must be a methodology around how documents are managed. There must be a methodology and an approach around how documents are managed. You and I need to be doers. There's something in the standard that talks about plan, do, check, act, and everybody should write that down. You can't do any kind of management system without planning, do, check, and act. Plan the things you want to do. Start to plan 2024, then do them. Do the things you have said you will do. Then review them. Get an external person, get a supervisor, get a senior person, get somebody to review those things, and then act on them. Plan, do, check, and act. I'm going to show you something like that when I'm done. Plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. Plan, do, check, act. It's somewhere, yeah, there you go. Plan, do, check, act. Plan your improvement. Do those things. check them, then further act on them again. And I'm hoping that these things we will achieve them. Look at, I mean, how do you and I become 15, 16-year-olds, not to talk about 50, she will understand input, activities, and outputs. And this is what the management system represents. Inputs, activities, and then outputs. You can see the arrows coming in, you can see the arrows within, and you can see the arrows coming out. Inputs, activities, and outputs. You need to get this. The context of the organization, the requirements of the customers, the needs and expectations of the interested parties, all forming inputs into this, and then output. The output is excellent products and services. I'm hoping we'll have a brand new set of 15, 16, 17-year-olds. That's my dream. Now, the people who will graduate at age 17, I was telling Edith when I was going to hire SSC, my plan is that if somebody comes to do the National Innovation Program and they spend 2 years with us, in those 2 years, they're going to get knowledge, they're going to work, we're going to place them on internships, they're going to learn how to use computers, and I don't mean learn how to use it badly, like become professionals, we're going to certify them. The idea is that if they never go to a university again, like all their lives, if they never go to a university again, they'll have more than enough to be able to eat from all the days of their lives. That's the plan. Because that's why we're getting professionals, people who work. This is not academic work. This is real life work. As I said, this last week, I'm certain I traveled, I got into Lagos yesterday night. Late yesterday night, to be precise. And at the end of the day, the reason why you and I do what we do is to be able to ensure that we surpass customer expectations. Everybody needs to know that. You need to go back on Monday and ask yourself, how do I put these things into practice? Where is our 2024 plan? We're already in Q4. Where is our 2024 plan? How do we ensure that we do the things that we're talking about? How do we check? Do we have any form of checks and balances? And how do we act, further improve? Once again, if you take nothing away from this session, these are some essential things on this particular page. Performance management. You know what they say, 9.1, if you can see it on my screen, if it's not measured, then it cannot be improved upon. If something is not being measured, then it cannot be improved upon. And that's why measurements are key. That's why one skill set that everybody should go. There is no organization that I've seen in this world that is not looking to have dashboards. Imagine if a 16-year-old can create dashboards, that guy's life is good. You know how many companies in the world are looking for somebody that can create dashboards like this? The basis for measuring revenue, the basis for measuring things, the data for measuring things. Performance management. More than 1,000, almost 1,000 people registered for this course. We don't even have up to 20% because, of course, people are not really interested in these kinds of things. Even when I heard that the Big Brother person took 120 million in cash and cars and all that, I was telling my wife, I was like, are you sure we won't go for Big Brother like this? Maybe all of us, we don't even set up Big Brother house or something like that. Because it's those kinds of things that everybody wants. And that's great. I mean, of course, it's part of the economy, it's part of the country. We can't push it aside, we can't ignore it. But I don't know anything about Big Brother. This is what I know. So 9.1 talks about performance management. How do we judge performance of something? How do we judge if something is working properly? How do we make judgments around things? People do things. Everybody does one thing or the other. But are those things being done properly? What is the sense around measurements? And you see these things in every ISO standard. Once you get to this session, all the 10 courses that we're going to be doing under this ISO column, then you already have what it is that you need. Once you get to this session, right, this morning session, then you're halfway through, if you get it, when you get it. Internal audit, big deal. Internal audit, big deal. Right? An audit is just somebody helping you, somebody who is qualified, either by experience or by qualifications or whatever, looking at what you said you have done and giving you an external opinion on how it can be better. That's what it is. And of course, leadership tied to executive management reviews, and finally, it's continual improvement. Every time people say that I want to improve as a person, ask them, you're improving knowledge, or are you clear on improving skills? Knowledge is good. Knowledge is foundational. Skills are better. Skills is how I get paid. Skills is how, you know, in my line of work, there's no guarantee. I'm a consultant. I have to be extremely good. Otherwise, I won't eat. It's like that thing that they say in Africa. What's that thing? They said, is it the gazelle has to wake up very early? And
every morning, the gazelle.
So, go ahead, Tima.
Fastest lion, otherwise it's going to die. And the lion must outrun the fastest gazelle.
Yeah. Otherwise, so the gazelle is running away so that it doesn't get eaten. The lion is also trying to wake up. Otherwise, the lion is also going to starve. In my line of work, there's nothing guaranteed. I better be better than the next person, otherwise the client doesn't pick me. That's it. That means I have to tell my children stories. I have to tell them that they can't go to school. So it's important to me that I have to be very good at what it is that I do. Otherwise, my kids don't get fed. And my staff will stone me. All sorts of things will happen. Maybe my even church members might even arrest me. Now, the gate man in church will be like, okay, that 1K, where I see? Where is it now? So I have to get very good. Otherwise, I don't get to eat at all. And this is the basis for all management systems, everybody. We're going to certify everybody every week. We're going to touch one management system. And on this page is the basis for everything. Is this important? It's crucial and it is essential. I'll go through a couple of other things and then we will bring this initial session to a close as it is. Right? As I said, one of the biggest and the most important standard is ISO 9001. And that's the one we're going to do next week. Because this is what it is about. I was with a client yesterday, and I was telling the client that, you know what, this is process improvement. We call it ISO 9001. We call it quality management system. But indeed, it is about process improvement. That is what it is. It's about process improvement. That is exactly what it is. It's about business process improvement and optimization. And there is no institution in the world that is not looking to do these 8 things. Everybody, every organization should be worried about how well are they doing relative to this. Because you're ISO certified does not mean you're optimal. That's what we call a maturity model. Because you're ISO certified does not mean you're maturity level 5 or 4. And once again, I think 16-year-olds should know this. That's my target. Old people are very difficult to change. They are resistant to change. But 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, those are the ones that I'm after. A brand new set of people with a different thinking pattern, a different approach to doing work. And that's why thank you very much, T-Mac, for that student excellence program that you summarized and went through. People need to watch their appearance. People need to watch how they speak. People need to know how to negotiate. One of the painful things that I've seen in this world is that I see, is very painful. I see smart people, very smart people. They're working on the floor, on the ground, while people who have a tenth of their smartness are on horses. I see it every day. Every day. So the plan is to ensure that people get all these things. Everybody talks about something called enterprise transformation. People talk about that all the time. And that is what we want to do. That 16-year-olds can help an organization transform. I think it's very possible. I think it's extremely possible to get young people to transform organizations. I have some smart young people that work with me. I have some. They're very smart. I look at them and I'm like, with proper guidance, mentoring and coaching, these ones will do miracles. Very smart young people. Because young people can easily figure out phones. Even my kids can use my phone better than I can. They just have an instinct that allows them to be able to know those kinds of things. They're not steeped in old ways of doing things. It's easy for them to learn. And once again, this is what it is. Effective is good. Effective and efficient is better. You need both. I tell people you need both. You need to be effective to deliver results, but you also need to do it with the least amount of resources. So it's very important that you and I learn to be effective and efficient. So when I go to organizations, I say, everybody talks about effective sometimes, and even the effective, they're not able to do. Then we move the conversation to a deeper level where we start to talk about efficiency. And that's where technology comes in. That is where technology comes in. In the second half of today, or during the business analysis class, everybody needs business analysis skills. We're going to be talking about that. There is nobody who is a professional that does not need business analysis skills. I think onboarding in every smart, sensible organization, part of that onboarding is to do a refresher on business analysis. I think 16-year-olds can be excellent business analysts. I think you should train your child. It's like, when somebody showed me how to do mind mapping, and one of my colleagues at some point in time, he does a lot of mind mapping. And so when somebody showed me how to do mind maps, and I taught my children in the days where, when you don't have a tab, you look like you're a poor person, you're suffering. So everybody had a tab. I also had one, but plenty. Now I can't even find everything. So I had to teach my children how to use Xmind. If you still have a tab, go to your Play Store. And all those people with Apple Store, I've never used an Apple product. I'm not in that big league of people yet. I'm hoping that one day I'll probably be able to do that. But you find something that talks about mind mapping, and you can teach kids. In fact, I was taking one class years ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago, and I challenged everybody that they must teach their children how to do mind mapping on their tabs. And everybody came back in the morning and said, wow, I was able to do it, and my children were able to do it. The concept of a central theme, and then secondary themes, and then tertiary themes, and the interconnectedness of those themes. So 16, 17-year-olds can figure these things out. They're not too young. They're not too young to do this. We adults need this, but adults are steeped in their old ways of doing things. Adults are hard to teach. It's only the ways that they've always learned it. But these are the kinds of conversations we're going to be having in the ISO. The ISO is a technical portion of the work. There's no going around it, but we're going to ensure 10 certificates, right? The market, but it's not about the certificate. I'm happy that Tim accept that. As I said, I have all sorts of certificates, but nobody ever asked me. I've never seen a client that said, if you don't bring the certificate, we'll never give you the job. I've never sat in an analysis meeting, in a strategy meeting, in an audit, in an implementation meeting, whatever that kind of meeting is, and the people are asking for the certificates. At the client side, people don't call me because of certificate. They call us because of the work that we know how to do. And that's the way it should be for you also. This is another fundamental concept. Inputs, activities, and outputs. This is a thinking pattern. This is how somebody should start to think. You should always think inputs, activities, and outputs. Inputs, activities, and outputs. The input into this particular session, the activities for this session, it's going on. Timak took a session, ED started, Timak took a session, I'm taking another session now. The activities, but there are loads of things that have gone into it. Preparation, setting up the link, and all sorts of things. And what is the output? For me, there's only one output. Skilled people. Skilled people. People who have an excellent spirit and an excellent attitude. I was speaking to somebody recently. I said, those 3 things will kill you. They'll kill you faster than the devil can. Knowledge, skills, and your attitude towards many things. That's like, those 3 things are like demons in themselves, or the lack thereof. Your knowledge, your skills, and your attitude. And it's your attitude that we're trying to deal with in the excellence sessions. KSA is what it is that we say. It's your attitude that we're trying to deal with. What is your attitude towards the things that you do? You see a lot of people, they almost hate improvement. They almost hate when you're telling them that you need to be able to speak up. But one of my kids, my daughter, she just wants to crawl into the back of the class, crawl into nowhere, just wants to hold the phone and hold the book. She doesn't want to interact with people. And I tell her all the time, I say, I'll tell you, I promise you, you can't get anywhere. Even if you're the best researcher in the world, you still won't get anywhere. It's impossible. What's the name of that book? Everybody needs to go and read Outliers. It's a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book that talks about outliers and the things that make people outliers. And it's not just about knowledge. If I could give my child first class or give them extreme social intelligence, I'll give them extreme social intelligence. Trust me. If I could give my child one thing, it will be extreme social intelligence. Because with extreme social intelligence, they will get to become president. They will get to become president. And that's why you see, I've seen very smart people in my life. I've got very smart friends, great programmers, great this, great that. One of my friends hit a small roadblock in his life and he was almost about to die. And I was looking at him. I'm like, this is a tiny thing. He has all sorts of degrees. He's a chartered accountant, he's a CFA, he's this, he's that. He works for a big bank. This was a tiny problem. They laid him off his work. He was almost about to die. He was so worried that he would not get another job. And it was just laughable for me that why would you even think this way? You have experience, you have worked, you have done that. A tiny problem comes in and you're about to die. Tiny problem. They laid you off work. So what? You know your stuff. You've done it for years. Go convince somebody else to hire you. And for him, it was just so thrown aback. And that's what we're trying to deal. One of the topics in the excellence program is the concept of resilience. There's a book called Grit. Everybody, you can go look for it. You'll find it online. GRIT. Talks about resilience. Because at some point in time, you're going to fail at something. That's guaranteed. I've got people on this call who went to secondary school, university, some their first class, in all sorts of things, but some of them will tell you that they failed at one thing or the other. And first class did not deliver them. It was great. You don't fail at work, you will fail somewhere. It's grit that will take you out of it. That resilience that you have inside of you is what will take you out of it. And once again, these are the kinds of things. If you imagine going to an office and being able to demonstrate that, say, what exactly are the inputs to this thing? What are the activities and what are the outputs? Inputs, activities, and output. As simple as this is, companies struggle with this. You sit in meetings and you're asking that, what exactly are the key inputs that we need to make this event happen? What are the key activities we need to carry out for the thing? And what are the outputs that we expect? This is a challenge. This is a challenge for a lot of people. And once again, these are the kinds of things we want to deal with. If you ever get management systems right in your life, in your career, in your organization, the idea is that some of these benefits and objectives will be achieved. That's the idea. If you ever get this right. If you ever get this right, some of these benefits and objectives will be achieved. And all of us, it doesn't matter, all the way from secondary school, we should start to know that where is our line of work? How do we contribute to a company? People are used to just be hanging around. That's why every time in my office, when somebody says we, I'm like, let me not hear that word. Don't tell me about we, because when people start to use the word we, it means that they didn't really do anything as part of the job. I like to cut people's responsibilities so that I know who to hold. Because if you tell us to push a car like this, some people would never really push the car. They just want to hang out around pushing the car. They don't really want to be involved with pushing the car. They want to hang out around the car. And I don't want that. If you're going to work, let's know that you're working. Let's attribute some things to you. You can be a part of a team. Even within the team, people need to have their own responsibilities. You need to know what you're contributing to. So your skills, your capabilities, the management system, the ISO standard that your organization is adopting, which of these things is it contributing to? Is it contributing to reduction in cost, increase in revenue? What is your job, your career, that thing you do, that thing you're learning in university, what is it contributing to specifically? If you're going to adopt an ISO standard in your organization, what is it going to contribute to specifically? What is it going to contribute to without any form of ambiguity? I'll round up. Please put your questions, your thoughts in the chat room. I'll round up in the 2-3 minutes, and then I'll take some questions, and then I'll spend 10 minutes taking questions and all that. And then we will go for our break, and we'll come back at the dot of 1 to come to talk about business analysis. Maybe I'll round up on this page, actually. Yeah, okay, well, I'll touch on these 2 pages. I tell people that everything is a process. I tell people that all the time. Everything is a process. Companies are made up of departments. Departments are made up of divisions. Divisions are made up of departments. Departments are made up of units. Units are made up of processes. Everything is a process. Everything is a process. Everything is a process in an organization, and in your life, everything is tied to your KSA. The output of your life is completely tied to those 3 things: knowledge, skills, and your attitude. The output of your organization is only tied to one thing: processes. Our own organization, Training Heights, we know what our biggest challenge is. We fail when it comes to some things. Our marketing process is broken, forever broken. We just don't know how to market. We focus on doing the work rather than how to do our own marketing. Every organization, I tell people that if your company is not even if we say it's not an African leader, it's because something in your organization is broken. Some process is broken. The process of board constitution, the process of marketing, the process of advertising, the process of sales, something is broken. That's why you're not a global name. If you get everything right, you will be a global name. In your personal life, something is broken. In your KSA, there your knowledge is short, your skills are short, or your attitude is broken somewhere. These things are not that difficult. It's as simple as that. Trust me, it's not the woman in my village that is after me. It's my knowledge, my skills, and my attitude towards one thing or the other. Am I get it right? Career? Am I miss it somewhere else? Maybe family, whatever that area is. Maybe in your religion, you might miss it in that area. But all your problems are always tied as an individual to your lack of knowledge, your lack of skills, or your attitude. I was talking to somebody in my office earlier saying that, this person has now become unteachable. Attitude. The person feels like he or she knows that particular thing optimally. Attitude. They're not willing to learn. The person does wrong prioritization. Attitude. They know something, they can't deliver. They know something, but they stop at the level of knowledge, no skills. And automatically they hear their results. In your life, it's KSA. In your organization, it's a broken process. It's a broken process. The reason why you're not number 1 globally, the reason why maybe my voice is not global yet, is because in my organization, we're missing something. We are missing something. If we get strategy right, maybe we're missing finance and accounting. If we get accounting right, maybe we're missing HR. Maybe we're hiring the wrong people. Maybe our promotional, our method for remuneration is broken. It's something. Something is broken. That's why we're not global. If Transformation College does not get to achieve its vision, it's because something is broken. Something. Maybe we're not getting enough sponsors. Maybe the way we approach the sponsors is not great. Something is broken. It's not very. Nigeria as a country, Ghana as a country, the way they are, Ghana has experienced so much, what's that thing called? Foreign exchange increase, just like Nigeria. But I think ours has beaten theirs. They've also experienced it a lot. And that's because something is broken in the country. Some processes are broken. Let's face reality. Let's be realists. Something is broken. That's why you're not getting to where you need to get to. As an organization, as an individual, your knowledge, your skills, or your attitude towards something. It could be things of God. It could be your career. It could be your family life. Something is broken. That's why. That's why. And you need to go back and fix those things. We'll do our own bit. We're all learning. I mean, nobody's who has got it there, right? We're all learning. None of us is global. None of us, they mention our name in New York. It's not there. Very few of us are in Times Magazine yet. So the journey is still there. Journey is still full ground. All right. Once again, ISO standards help you with regards to these things. And I think I'll end here. Right? ISO standards help you with regards to these things. ISO standards, they help you with regards to these things, or their key considerations, however you want to look at it. They're key considerations for you, what you do and in your organization. ISO standards are great. ISO standards are useful, and they help. All right, people. I'll bring it to a close here. Let me go to the chat room, and if anybody wants to speak, if your mic is up, you can speak or spoke as it is. As it is. So yes, I mean, thoughts, questions, opinion. I need to round this up in less than 10 minutes. Right? Questions, thoughts, opinion. Anybody? Questions, thoughts? Okay. Omotalani Victoria gives guidelines on local government. Thank you very much for putting that in. Thank you, True Skill. Yeah. You can't, skills, that's the idea behind skills. Somebody talks about quality. Yes. 5 W's and 1 H. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, woo and right? Absolutely. Yeah, 5 W's and 1 H. Oh, H is just the number. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen people in their 60s who have done great things. I'm about to hire somebody who is almost 60. They're going to give the person their offer letter soon. You know, in Nigeria now, I'm trying not to hire young people any longer. There's one lady that came to me with a job. I didn't even listen to what she said. The minute she said she has 3 kids, I said, I'm hiring you straight. I said, because you're not about to japa anyway. Because you need to, because japa is not a disadvantage. It's good. It's helping you and I become global. Some of you on this call, you're going to be in Russia, you're going to be in the Netherlands, and you're going to call us. Some of our students are going to go global. So japa is not bad. We need to focus on export. We export our skills, we earn revenue in foreign currency. That's the dream. So japa is good. We need to enable people. I plan to enable all the students and everybody that is in our certificate course and in our actual innovation diploma course. We plan to enable them to japa, so that and if they don't japa, we plan to enable them to be able to earn foreign currency while seated in this country. Okay, so japa is not a bad thing at all. Technical writing is great. Excel, I mean, you need to know Excel. In all you're getting, go and get Excel. I consider my Excel at the level of 4 or 5 over 10. And that's because I don't use it all the time. I consider my PowerPoint to be at 8 or 9 over 10. That's because I use that more. But yes, it's important that you and I that we get these things right. If it's not measured, it definitely can be improved upon. Skill. In all you're getting, get skills. I'm telling you, the problem in life is KSA. Yes, grit. Thank you very much, Yvonne, Angela Duckworth, grit. And just like the book Outliers, go and get that. Those are great books for you to read. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rotimi, for putting this here. Outliers is a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book. Just like you go on YouTube, go on YouTube and just watch the animation for. You don't even have to read the big book. The book is too big. Just go and watch the animation on YouTube for what's this thing? For the laws of human nature. Because if you don't know how to deal with human beings, you won't get anywhere. Your knowledge, your skills, and your attitude towards how to deal with human beings is a demon. You will have to overcome that demon. Right? You've got to overcome some of that demon. Today is just introduction, right? Well, Fashala, we just follow through with everything that we're saying. All right? Andrew says, what do I say the church using for clergy? Maybe I'm the one that'll come up with that one. I like that, right? I have about skills, because having a skill and wanting to prove your skills can have a different world apart from experience. Yeah, you learn skills from experience. That's the other thing. You don't learn skills. It's just like somebody who wants to know how to sew. You can't, I remember one thing I read sometime. They said the people talked about evangelism. They said they prayed about evangelism. They said they had seminars on evangelism. They said they had symposiums of evangelism. But the one thing that they did not do was that they did not go out. And that's the thing about skill. I remember when my sister was learning how to sew, the first 1 or 2 months was just about newspaper. That's all. Anybody on this call who has learned how to sew before, you start with newspaper before you go to scrap clothing. But all the designs, everything that she did for more than 3 months was all newspaper. That's all. And that's where skill comes in. Because she's gone through it. It's part of her. If you wake her up in the middle of the night, right, she can do it. Okay? She can do it. And that's why you and I, we really need to get skills. We truly need to get skills in different areas of our work. When we come back, once again, we will speak about business analysis. And that's another great one. All of us are going to look at business analysis. And I think all of us need to have business analysis skills. Not some of us, everybody. That's why we titled it business. It's a certificate in business analysis and management systems. These are the 2 key parts. But we intentionally included that excellence program because if you know management systems and you know business analysis, but you appear like one of my staff went for a presentation today, and they sent me the letter, and I told him I'm going to fire him because I had to ask him that what kind of consultant looks like this. I said, dude, you look like some kind of local plumber, and you're a guy who does cyber security. That's the attitude that we're talking about. The guy knows the work. He's an expert. He knows networking. He knows security, but he doesn't have a clean, properly ironed shirt. That's a problem. How do you know all these things and you don't think your appearance matters? And that's where the attitude really does come in, because if you know all the technical side of the work and your attitude is poor, you're still going to struggle to get to your destination. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I will see you in exactly 30 minutes, and we will talk about business analysis. We will talk about business analysis when we come back in 30 minutes. And then we will do that from 1 Nigerian time to about 2:30 Nigerian time. I know some of the people here are in Ghana. So so we will just come back in exactly 30 minutes. We also don't want to keep people here for too long, and that's why we kind of compress the program. I know some people might have data challenges and power challenges and all sorts of other challenges. The idea is for us to go through this very quickly, ensure that we meet all the objectives, and then people can get some real work done during the week. You can brush up on things. We're going to share also some materials, and that's why your registration, also having your right email and your right phone numbers and things like that is critical. They're going to have all sorts of groups. We're going to share all sorts of materials. Somebody created Google, and I'm certain that we ourselves, we can contribute to our own quota to the development of people, our children, our cousins, our brothers and sisters, our words. They will all have a lot to gain from these things. Once again, thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Thank you. See you in exactly 30 minutes. Thank you.